Okay, good evening all. My screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So in the previous classes, we were discussing regard on the syllabus. Okay, we have discussed the syllabus in the previous class. Now, in today's class, we are going to discuss module 1. Okay, so in today's class, we are going to discuss module 1 in today's class. In module 1, we will be seeing need for protected water supply. Okay, and then we will see what is a demand of water and the different types of demand of water. Okay, we will see need of protected water supply, and we will see what is water demand and types of water demand that we are going to see in today's class. Clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, as we know, we are going to cover the need of protected water supply. Okay, we are going to cover today need of protected water supply in today's class. Okay, so before going to see what is protected water, but can you tell me, do you require or whatever the water has be is getting accumulated in a river? Can we directly drink it? Can we directly drink it?
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
No,
no,
right? We cannot directly drink it. Why? Why? Why we cannot
because of the
directly drink it?
contamination.
Contaminated.
Because
Impurities.
the water, whenever there is an whenever there is an rainfall, whenever there is a rainfall is going to occur, right? So suppose this is your river bed, right? Suppose there is an this is an your river bed. Whenever the precipitate is going to occur, right? Here, this layer will be the layer of soil. Here, suppose this layer will be the layer of soil. Now, when the precipitate is going to occur, or when the rainfall is going to occur, right? What is going to happen? Right, when water is going to directly fall on this particular, say, the soil surface. Now obviously the water is going to mix with the soil, and there is these particular soil is also going to have some of the impurities. It might be it is going to have some of the bacteria, some of the microbes it is going to have. So this, whenever the water level is going to get filled down, right, so this water is going to be mixed with the different with the soil and a different amount of microbes in it. Okay, the water is having the different impurities in it, as well as it is going to have the microbes, right? It is going to have the different microbes plus the soil. Okay, plus soil. It is going to have the microbes, soil, right, and the different elements will be there in the this particular water. So directly we cannot consume this particular water. If we consume such kind of a polluted water which is going to have the microbes, soil and other bacteria, xyz, all those things, if we have it directly, then we will be facing the waterborne diseases. We are going to face the different waterborne diseases such as, again, dysentery, fever, typhoid, then cholera, right, jaundice, all these such things we are going to have due to the waterborne diseases. So the water, whatever that has been that is going to be provided to us, it should be free from microbes, it should be free from any of the waterborne diseases, it should be free from the different harmful salts, heavy metals, it should be free from all such kind of an elements. So the water is going to be very, very important. It should not have the turbidity. All these things will become be necessary when we are going to have a water. Okay, so the water should be free from any of the say microbes. It should be free from the soil, or it should be free from the harmful bacteria, waterborne causing the free from the waterborne disease causing agents. All the it should be free. Okay, so now our, as we know, a person or a human or a living thing, especially we will take the living, say, the people, or the especially we will take the we human beings. we we require, see, air is the first element, then water, then food, then clothes, shelter. All these are the four basic elements that we require in order to lead a day to day life. See, without air we cannot live more than say 2 minutes, right? More than 2 minutes we cannot live without it. Or those who do yoga and all, they might be having some greater good respiratory system, so they may survive for 3 or 4 minutes, but we cannot survive without air, right? Then the next requirement is water. The water is the most second most important element that the human life is going to have. The water that which has to be provided to us, it should be very clear. It should not have any kind of a waterborne diseases, or else if it is impure, the water we can get it, but if it is impure, right, it becomes very difficult to lead a day to day life, or else we will be dealing with the many kind of diseases. So whatever water that has to be provided to us, it has to be very good in quality. What does it mean good in quality? It should be free from odor, it should be free from turbidity, it should be free from waterborne say waterborne diseases causing elements, it should be free from the harmful salts, it should be free from the microbes. All these things, it makes the water that may all these things will make the water protected, right? If we want all these, if all these harmful elements, if we don't want in a water, the water should be protected. Protected means what, right? Protected means what? We make the water the protected by two means, right? By either the first one is with the water treatment, right? The first thing is with the water treatment, and the second is with the second thing we have is with the water whatever is available to us during the rainy period or during the rainy season, it has to be protected by having the what, how we can protect the water? By having the dams, right? We should protect the water by having construction of the dams, as well as the second thing by treatment, right? These are the two things that how the water can be protected. Okay, water treatment. If we, the first thing, the very important aspect, the water that we are going to have is it should be protected. It should be protected by treatment. So it should not have all kinds of harmful elements that is making the person ill. It should be free from all these things. It should not have odor, it should not have the taste, it should not have any harmful disease causing bacteria, okay, microbes. It should be free from all those things, salts, different harmful salts. Salts are required but harmful, heavy metals, right, toxic elements. It should be free from all such things. Okay, so we can protect the water by two means. One is by having the treatment which makes us the water which makes us to lead a healthy life without having the waterborne diseases, and the second one is the by construction of the dams. Now by construction of the dams, how the water is going to be protected? Now as we know, we are living in a, say there are a few countries where the too much quantity of water is going to be available due to the many rivers. The too much quantity of water might be available during all the times. Okay, during all the times, that means even during the summer, even during the winter, during the rainy season, all water might be available to them. But there are a few countries where a quantity or the number of rivers are less. So whenever there is a rain, right, then only they are going to get the water. So if in such countries, what becomes necessary is the water, whatever they are going to get it from the rain, it has to be stored. Okay, it has to be stored. It has to be stored where? It has to be stored into the dams. Why we are going to construct a dam? Why we are going to construct a dam? Can anybody
To
tell me?
store water.
To store the
Storage
water.
of water.
To store the water for what purpose?
To protect.
More times.
To protect the water for longer duration of time. That means, suppose if there is a, this is your dam, right? This is your dam. Might be this is your might be if the dam is not there, then whatever the precipitate is going to occur, right? Whatever the precipitate, suppose the rainfall is going to occur, right? Without these dams, the water would have come. There is no storage of water is going to be possible. Okay, but due to this particular dam, suppose there is a rain is going to occur. Now, whatever the rain is going to occur in that particular catchment area, it is going to be filled with some quantity of water. Now, even the rainy season is not there, even though rainy season is going to get over, right? Now, still there is a quantity of water will be available in the dam. Now, you know that the water is going to evaporate due to the temperature, evapotranspiration, all these things is going to happen. Then still there will be a huge quantity of water will be available during the summer season. Okay. Now, this particular water, we also call it as an protected water, right? It is going to be called as a protected water because the water we are whatever is available to us during the rainy season, or whatever the water that was available to us during the rainy season, it has been properly stored into the dams, and we are going to use it for the next entire year. We are going to use it for the entire year. That is, if June the rain is going to occur till we are going to have the till September. Then from August the rainfall is going to get reduced. Then in August, after September onwards, September or October onwards, the winter is going to start again. In summer season, the water will be there will be evaporation of water is going to happen. Now, still evaporation is there, but still we are going to have a huge quantity of water. This quantity of water now it can be used for the several other purposes such as drinking, irrigation, then again the electricity production. This water can be utilized. Now, treatment, you know that we are, whatever the impurities are there in the water, we are removing it, and we are making the person to able to take that particular water for his day-to-day life, or drinking or cooking, whatever it is, day-to-day life means all those things are going to come. So in such case, now there are this treated water will make us to lead a healthy life, and dams, right, will make the water to available during the throughout the year. So together this dams and treated water together, we call this as an the protected water. Together we call this as an protected water. Okay. Now we will see what are the objectives of the community water supply and the protected water supply. Okay. Now, first point is to provide the wholesome water to the consumer for drinking purpose. Just now I have told wholesome water is nothing but the potable water or a drinking water. If the water, if it is going to have the turbidity with it, right, such water we cannot able to drink it. If it is going to have the impurity, such water we cannot able to drink it, right? So we, in order to make it drinkable, we need to treat it. So treatment is, we call it as a protected water supply. So to provide the wholesome need of a protected water supply is to provide the wholesome water to the consumer for that drinking purpose. Next is to supply adequate quantity to meet at least minimum needs of the individual and individual. Okay, so that is the reason why we need to provide this wholesome, we need to provide the water. Okay, so when we store the water in the dams and all, right, we are going to get the sufficient quantity of water, and the water can be stored into the dam. So that is also one of the reason why we need the protected water supply. Okay, now the next thing why we need to have this protected water supply, it makes us to stay away from the waterborne diseases. It makes us to stay away from the different waterborne diseases. So that is the reason why we need the protected water supply. Okay. Next is we are going to cover we are going to cover the topic, right? We are going to just a minute. See, I want all to be on time, right? I want all the students to be on time. You are making late, right? So if I continue with the sessions, I may not see the window right? Window meeting window, right? Google Meet window I may not see, so I request you all to be present on a time, right? It makes me disturb. Okay, so I request you all to be on time. Is my screen is visible to you all? Yes. Is it visible?
No, sir.
I think there is some problem in the screen. Just a minute. Just a minute. Yes. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So we will see. We were looking towards the different aspect, that is what is the need of protected water supply. Third provision is to make provision for future demands due to increasing population, increase in standard of living, storage and convenience. Now see, as we know that the population is continuously it is increasing, right? Now if we don't plan, if whenever we are going to design a water supply line, if we don't consider the future increment in growth, then whatever the system or whatever the dam we are going to construct or whatever the water treatment plant we are going to construct, right? If we don't take or if we don't consider the future requirement or the future requirement, how the according to the population, the our infrastructure also should become strong. So if we don't do that, then whatever the infrastructure, dam or the water treatment plant, whatever we are going to do, we should design it according to the future demands or in the increasing population and increasing the standard of living and storage and convenience. If so, that is also one of the reason why we should have the protected water supply. Without having any kind of a proper idea or a proper say future planning, it becomes the water may not be available if we don't design it for the future population. So again, the water has to be properly protected. Next is to prevent the pollution of water at source, storage and convenience. So that is the reason why we should have the protected water supply. Okay, then to design and maintain the system that is economical and the reliable. Now we will see what are the different types of water demand we are going to have. We will see what are the different types of water demand we are going to have. We call it as a water demand. By the way, what do you mean by water demand? Do you have any kind of an idea what is a water demand? The statement itself or the word itself tells
Need of water.
demand.
Water
Need of
requires
water. By
Need
whom?
of water.
By whom?
for drinking, cooking.
By consumers.
From the consumer. It is water demand is nothing but the amount of water required by per person per day. Okay, it is nothing but the water demand is nothing but it is the amount of water required by a person per day. It is the per capita consumption also we can say it is the water demand, the amount of water required by per person per day. That is nothing but the water demand or the requirement of water by a person or say a community, right? That we say it as a water demand. Okay. Now, while designing the water supply scheme for a town or city, now it is necessary to determine the total quantity of water required for the various purpose of city. Right now, we are going to have, see, whenever we are going to design a city, we are going to design according to the different zones. Right, one is a residential area, domestic residential area, industrial area, commercial area, then institutional areas, right? And all these things are nothing but when we are going to design it, all these we are going to take into the consideration of all these zones of a city, right? So when we are going to design a water supply, we consider all these different areas and then we are going to design the water requirement or design the infrastructure whatever whenever we are we want to supply the water to the city. Okay, now the first duty of an engineer is to determine the water demand of a city and then to find the suitable water sources from where the water can be met. Now, first we need to know how much is the population, the current population of that particular city, and then what are the different activities that they are it is going on in the city, right? Might be it is going to have industrial area, might be it is going to have commercial areas, right? Might be too much quantity of water is going to be used for gardening and all. So such kind of a thing, probably it may be there. So whether we first work of our engineer or say whomsoever are concerned with this water supply, what they need to do is they need to see how much is the population in that particular area, how much is the water requirement, what are the different kinds of activities it is going to be happen in that particular area, then the water requirement or the water demand can be fixed over there in that particular area. So we need to see first the how much is the population, what are the different kind of an activities it is going on. All such things has to be kept in mind. Now but there are also many factors involved in the demand of water, so it is not possible to accurately determine the actual demand. See, there will be the some amount of, even though we calculate this much is the population, this much will be the required water demand in that particular area, might be there will be some fluctuations because the people will be have migrating somewhere, or they might be coming going, all such things will be there. So it is not very easy to find out this particular water requirement, but we can approximately we can judge the amount of water that has to be required in that particular areas. Okay, now we will see what are the different types of water demand that the city or town is going to have. We will be seeing what are the different types of water demand that the city is going to have. As I have told, the water will be or the city will be divided into the different areas. That is, we are going to have the domestic water demand here. Residential area will come into picture, right? Domestic water demand here, residential area will come into picture, as well as say some of the commercial areas, because commercial areas will also have the houses attached to with it. So domestic area or the domestic water demand will be having two types in it. One is the residential area water requirement, plus it is going to have the commercial area water requirement. So two types of water requirement will be considered in the domestic water demand. Then in the industrial demand, only industries is going to be get considered in this particular type of industrial water demand, where see the domestic water demand it is going to be dependent on how much amount of population is there in that particular area. But in case of industrial area is completely dependent on what kind of an industry it is, right? What kind of an industry it is, what they are going to manufacture, what they are going to manufacture. All these will be the different required things will be there in the industrial demand. Whenever we are going to design the water requirement in an industrial area, we should know what kind of an industry it is running, right? And how much is their water requirement, how much is their production rate, how much is their raw material supply. All such kind of an data, XYZ data, we should have when we are going to have this industrial water demand. Now, the water required in the domestic area or an residential area or semi-commercial or commercial area, this we call it as the domestic water demand. The water that is required by the industries, we call it as an industrial demand. And then the third point is the institutional and commercial the demand. Okay, in the domestic water demand, here we are going to consider some of the domestic as well as semi-commercial areas. Here industrial, completely industry. In the third point, in the institution and the commercial, here it comes the marketplace. Here it comes the marketplace, and institutes means offices, schools, colleges, all these things will be coming under the institutes. The amount of water required by the institutes as well as the marketplaces or the commercial demand, right? Marketplace or say or the hotels and all, this will come under the institutional and commercial demand. Then demand for public use. Now this is nothing but the amount of water required for the public use, for such as say cleaning of the road, then gardening, then the quantity of water required for the plant growth, and then public latrines, right? All these will be considered, or say the government swimming pools, or say government any of the facilities are there for the sports activities, for such kind of will be coming under the demand for the public use. Then is fifth demand is the fire demand. It is by mistake it has been printed as five demand. It is an fire demand. Now, as we know that the fire accidents are we call it as an unexpected, right? There are sometimes what happens is we are going to have the unexpected the fire accidents may happen. So in such case, the amount of water required in order to fight against such kind of an fire accident, we call it as an fire demand. We need a water to in order to extinguish that particular fire. So what we such the water the amount of water required in such kind of an say accident, fire accident, we call such kind of an water demand as a fire demand. Then sometimes what happens is the sixth is the water losses, right? In this water losses and the waste, sometimes what is going to happen, our pipelines and all, there might be some breakages and all in the water pipeline and all, it may happen. And also there might be some of the without the water, without meters, and some of the sometimes there are illegal connections we are going to have. Due to all such things, there might be a loss of water is going to happen. So this is nothing but we call it as an we call it as an the losses and the wastage. So these are the different types of the water demand. It is there in case of the water demands. So here in today's class, in this particular session, we have seen what is the water demand and what are the different types of water demand. Just a minute, just a minute. I'll come back soon. Yes, am I audible? Yes, am I audible? Okay, we'll continue. Now, have you understood what are the different demand of water? Yes, is it understood? Yes,
Yes.
no reply? Okay, fine. So these are nothing but the different demand of water are. Now, what do you mean by domestic water demand? Can anybody tell me what is domestic water demand? You can see by the word itself, you can tell what is domestic water demand. Yes?
Personal use.
Personal use. Yes, there are very less replies.
Commercial
Yes.
and
Water used
residential
for
use.
residential.
Water used for Residential
Residential.
purpose. Okay,
Yes, sir.
very good, very good. Okay.
Daily use.
Now, as the name is suggesting, the domestic water demand, it is nothing but the quantity of water required by per person per day in an residential area. We call it as an the domestic water demand. Right now, we are going to perform in a residential area. We are going to perform a day-to-day activities such as drinking, cooking, bathing, washing of the clothes, right? Utensil washing, house cleaning, and all. See, per person will be required some amount of water per day. Okay, so that particular amount of water in the amount of water that is required during the all during the in a residential area, that we call it as a domestic water demand, or the domestic purpose, how much quantity of water we require, we call it as a domestic water demand. Now, as per, see, again the domestic water demand will be dependent on see the habits of people, social status, and then again climatic conditions and the customs of the people, right? And all, yeah, it is going to change, right? Because say higher class people, they will be using the different say they will be having in front of their house a large veranda, and again in that gardening will be there. So again they require a huge quantity of water for the growth of the plants, and again they might be having they might be having swimming pools, right? They might be having swimming pool coolers, right? And the different say in your bathrooms also, they might be having the flush, might be the different kinds of water, say jacuzzi is nothing but it is a kind of a bathing system where you require a huge amount of water in order to have the bathing. So again, the domestic water requirement is going to change day by day. Okay, it is going to change according to the financial status of the person, right? It is again dependent, or the social status of the people, again it is dependent on that. Now, according to the Indian standard, domestic water consumption according to the Indian standard is 135 liters per capita per day. This is very, very important aspect that you need to remember, this 135 liters per capita per day. This is nothing but the amount of water required by the per person per day according to the Indian condition. So normally while solving the problems and all, we will be using this 135 and all. So again you need to remember it. So per person according to the Indian standard condition, how much quantity of water we are going to utilize? We utilize around 135 liters per capita per day amount of water we are going to use. Okay, is it understood? What is per capita consumption? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay. It is nothing but, I'll repeat. For example, if some person is there, right? How much quantity of water he requires in a per person by in a day? Per person, how much quantity of water he consumes? Now we are going to have the different activities. Drinking, this 135 liter, how it is going to come? 135 liters is Indian standard has given the 135 liter we are going to consider, right? Indian standard has told that the in India 135 liters of water has to be provided to the person, so per day. Okay, drinking 5 liters, right? Drinking, we want 5 liters of water. Cooking, we want 5 liters of water per person, right? Bathing, 55 liters of water. Then washing of the clothes, 20 liters. Utensils washing, 10 liters. Then house washing, 10 liters. So together makes it 135 liters per capita per day. This is how our 135 we are going to reach, right? This is how we are going to reach 135 liters per capita per day. Okay, now the second demand is the industrial demand. Now what is this industrial demand? Industrial demand is nothing but it is an amount of water that has to be required in an industry in a day. Okay, or the amount quantity of water that is required in the industries. So that we call it as the industrial water demand. Okay. It is again dependent on the type of industry which it is, and the water required by the different kind of factories, paper mills, cloth mills, right? And again in the cotton mills, breweries, sugar refineries, right? There are n number of industries are there in this industrial thing. So it is completely dependent upon the type of industry we are going to serve the water. Okay, so these are nothing but the different. This is nothing but the industrial water requirement. The water that has to be required in an industrial area, we call it as the industrial water requirement. Okay, now we are going to have the different kind of the industries where the different quantity of water is going to be required. Okay, next the institutional and the commercial demand, and then other type of demand we are going to discuss, right? We are going to discuss within the next hour. We are going to discuss in the next hour. Okay, so we are